Today we're talking about lessons 2.17 and 2.18. We're going to start combining some lessons together because I think you guys can handle it. Okay, so today we're going to do 17 and 18 all in one day. And your learning goal today is to be able to use what you know about math facts to help you estimate the quotient. What does it mean to estimate? There's a key word there, estimate. What does it mean to estimate? Reagan?
To not find the exact, but to find the number that's around it.
Yeah, to not find the exact number, but to find like a number that's pretty close to it. That's in the zone. That's what one of my old students used to say. Okay? In the ballpark, yeah. Okay. Now, what are we estimating? We're estimating the quotient. What's a quotient? What's a quotient? Aditya? Answer to a division problem. So today, are we going to actually be solving the exact answers to division problems? No, we're just going to be finding what's in the zone or what's in the ballpark. We're estimating the quotient. Okay? What are the different parts? What do we call the different parts of a division problem? We said that we call the answer the quotient. And you're writing this down. Oops, quotient. What do we call this first number? We've been calling it the dividend. Okay? And we've been calling this the divisor. Now, this part is the quotient, this part is the divisor, and this part is the dividend. That's true. But I have another name that I'm going to start calling this number, the first number. I'm going to call it the whole. The reason for that is because 40 is the whole of what we have all together. And we're dividing it by the divisor to find the quotient. So when I say whole, it means the same thing as the dividend. Okay? Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. I want you to write that in your notebook because oftentimes I'm going to be referring to these numbers as the whole or the divisor or the quotient, and you need to know which part I'm talking about. Now, sometimes division problems are not written like this, right? They're written with like the little house and the roof and all that stuff. So which number, if I have the house, which number lives inside the house? Is it the whole, the divisor, or the quotient?
Whole.
Everyone?
Whole.
The whole, good. Which number is knocking on the door? Divisor. And which one lives on the roof? Good. Okay, so it's important for us to know what the whole, the divisor, and the quotient are. There's nothing wrong with the word dividend, but it's just easier to think of that number as the whole because that's your whole piece before you start dividing it. Okay? Here we have 402 divided by 19. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't know my 19s times tables, and this is not easy for me to do. So I'm going to round these numbers to make it easier for me to divide in my head. Would it be smarter to round the whole first or the divisor first, and why? Go ahead and talk to your table group. We always round the divisor first because we need to make sure, we round this one first because we need to make sure that the whole is compatible with the divisor. Okay? So let's take a look at this example. Is there a number pretty close to 19 that's easy to deal with in our heads, Alina? 20. So we can say that 402 divided by 19 is pretty similar to something divided by 20. 20 is a lot easier for us to think about in our heads. Now that we've rounded the divisor first, we can round the whole to give us a number that's compatible with the divisor. So 402 is pretty close to what whole that's compatible with our math facts, using what we know about math facts to 20. Sporty? 400. Because we know that 4 is a multiple of 2. So now we're ready to divide. 4 divided by 2 is? 2. Wait, so this is the same thing as 400. Sorry, we're not ready. Divided by 10 divided by 2, right? Now we're ready. We can do 400 divided by 10 first, which is?
40.
40, good. And then divided by 2. Now we know 4 divided by 2 is? 2, and then I have one more factor of 10, so the answer is 20. Now, is the actual answer of 402 divided by 19, is that 20?
No.
But it needs to be somewhere around the ballpark of 20, okay? Yeah, now we know that normally we want to round the divisor first. So let's take a look at this divisor. That's 95. That's right smack in the middle of 90 and 100. So how do I know if 90 is better or 100 is better?
100 is better.
Talk to your table group. How do you know which one's better? In this case, because it's right in the middle, either one I guess would work, and you would round your whole accordingly. But I'm curious, if I were to keep 95 as my divisor, is there a way I can round my whole, in this case, to be a math fact compatible with 95? Is there a whole that's pretty close to 9,215 that would allow me to do this math problem in my head, estimate it in my head, without even having to round the divisor? Talk to your table groups. So in this case, the whole of 9,500, even though it's farther away than 9,000, allows me to have a closer answer to the real thing because I am not having to round my divisor. So in this case, this is the preferable choice. So what's 95 divided by 95?
1.
How many factors of 10 do I have left?
2.
So my estimated quotient then is 100. So we have to be careful. Most of the time, I would say 90% of the time, we round the divisor first. Then we can round the whole in a way that's compatible with the divisor. But sometimes your numbers are set up in such a way that your whole, you could just estimate your whole to be compatible with the divisor. An example of when this might happen is if you have a number like 278 divided by 28. In this case, could I just estimate one of them, round one of them?
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to be on the lookout for situations like this where you don't even need to round, because if you only have to round one part, it'll make the answer a lot closer. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, two students here did the same problem and they got different answers. Which answer is better and why? So while both of these students did some estimation and rounding correctly, the blue one is a better estimate because 3,500 is closer to 3,704. So this one is more accurate. Okay. Now, the reason why this student knew you could do that is because they knew their math facts. They knew that 35 is divisible by 5, just as 40 is divisible by 5.